Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tanuki Token. I'm Lucas, and welcome back to my art segment. Today, I'm going to be drawing Omastar as part of my Pokémon challenge. Alright, let's get started. So, starting out my drawing with the rough sketch, I was trying to create something similar to the traditional Omastar artwork, but I did want it to be a little bit different. So I played around with the idea of having his mouth open, and I actually liked how it turned out, so I stuck with that. And then I knew I wanted to do something a little bit different with all the tentacles, but I wasn't sure what to do yet. And due to the nature of my time limit, instead of wasting time trying to figure it out first, I sat there and I focused on the other details that I already knew how I wanted it to look, so I could process in my head kind of like what I wanted to do next. So I was kind of like multitasking a little bit. And so I knew I kind of wanted the tentacles to kind of flare out like this, like he's trying to like grab something in front of him, like he's getting ready to eat it or something. But I wasn't 100% sure how I wanted that to look. But I'll figure that out in this next step, which is my rough cleanup stage. I'll play around with it just a little bit more. Um, getting the open mouth in first. Now, the point of this step is just to get a clearer idea of what the final drawing is going to be, so I'm still not worried about making it look perfect or anything. But, like I said, I'm kind of trying to lock in the final look a little bit. So I gotta make sure I get like the proportions of the tentacles a little more accurate. Figure out what posing I want. So see, I decided to play around with the positioning of his arm there, which I changed my mind later. I just kind of stick with that standard arms up look, and then have his tentacles flaring out. To see how I'm not like adhering to my original rough sketch and actively making different choices to try to improve the look of it. So I adjusted the tentacle here just a little bit, make it a little more proportionately accurate. And then being satisfied with the look of that, I move on to the shell. Although the shell's not going to change a whole lot. It's more about getting the proper proportions and then figuring out where exactly I want the lines along it to go. To see, I didn't like that, so kind of made a couple adjustments, and I'm ready to move on to the final cleanup. This one was fairly simple overall. I didn't have to tweak it too much once I got to this point. It was mostly about, getting that Japanese brushstroke in there and just kind of seeing how it would turn out. It's always probably the most fun part of this art style is just seeing how it ends up looking once I use this different brush. So, one thing I find funny about this pose is, to me, his tentacles almost look like armpit hair because of the placement of them, which is a weird thought. But I thought it was kind of funny. See, it takes me a couple tries to figure out how I want it to look. Now to lock in the final details of the shell once again. Honestly, the shell is kind of like the easiest part of the whole thing. Pretty simple. Get that spiral in there. It's the placement of the lines going across. And now I'm ready to move on to coloring. Now, I really don't have a complete set of rules that I strictly follow while I do the coloring process. I just kind of do whatever I feel like at the time. Sometimes I'll do it a certain way. Sometimes I'll do it a little differently. Like, I'm using the same brush always for this in these drawings, but the exact way that I approach it might be different. Sometimes I might start with the body, sometimes I might start with the head. Like I said, there's no real consistency to it. Sometimes I'll use a smaller brush to fill in these smaller, finer details, and other times I will just stick with the same brush size and then go onto a separate layer and color it, and then just erase anything that bleeds out. Like I said, it's kind of just whatever I feel like doing at the time. Now I get those eyes colored in, just like that. Gotta add the paper texture to the background like I always do. Now, to wrap up the look of the style, I write out the Pokemon's name in Japanese. But first, I wanted to move him over to make a little bit more space for the name. Now, Omastar's name in Japanese is basically just Omastar. So it would be Omasuta. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you all liked it. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you all so much for watching. Have a good day.